get things going. Hope everybody's doing well. It's the last week before everybody comes back. It's an exciting time. So today I really wanted to just get everybody together and kind of do a 2024 in review. Kind of go over what we've done in the past, talk about a little bit about numbers, and just be able to have a conversation with all the coordinators and advisors, and just make sure that we're all on the same page moving forward into 2025. So I do have a brief presentation that I would like to share. And are we able to see this? I just want to make sure that we're good. Beautiful. Okay. So today, it does look like a packed agenda, but I promise you it's not going to be as painful as it looks. What I really want to do is talk about staffing. We did have some changes in staffing this year. Talk about our enrollments, goals, actuals. Talk about reporting. Talk about marketing that we've done this in 2024. Talk about recruitment, our cohorts, the website launch, which I'm sure everybody is on this call is very excited about. Talk about holistic application review and kind of like timeline, and then talk a little bit about the monthly trainings that I'm going to start hosting this year for all the coordinators and advisors, just on really kind of like basic stuff. So as you know, I'm Mike Merriam. I'm the Assistant Dean of Grad and Continuing Ed Recruitment. So we have a bigger staff. When I started here 8 years ago, it was just me. And now I have an actual staff that can work towards recruiting our new students. So we have Zoe, which is our assistant director. She works primarily on the cohort programs. We have Jeff as our associate director of recruitment. And then we have Zach, who is new, just started with us in April. And I know that he's on the call too, so thanks for being here, Zach. And then on the processing side, when John Chenier moved off to new adventures, I took over our processing office. So I oversee Jackie and then Elizabeth, which is our part-time contractor. So as a whole, we're small, but we're mighty, and we're getting bigger, and we're doing better things. So when we talk enrollments, typically at the beginning of every application cycle, I sit down and crunch numbers and go over what our overall enrollment goal is. And then what I tend to do is just take a look at the program specifics, and then we can create goals based off of our specific program. So if you ever want to create an enrollment goal, we can definitely pull some data and do some historical research, and then be able to go with those goals for new students for your programs. So for this past spring, we had a goal set for 79 new graduate students. And I always put in our melt there because at any point, students are going to melt off. They're going to be admitted, they're going to be excited, and then all of a sudden they're just not going to end up matriculating or be able to start classes in that specific semester. So we do have a melt goal, which in the spring is about anywhere from 20 to 25%. And it, based off of various reasons. The fall, we have a new student goal of 250 new students. And that is with a 19.62% melt rate. Where we currently are, for spring, we had a net enrolled of 99, so we were 20 over our goal, which is fantastic. We really hustled and busted our butts to get to that 99, and we're very excited. Lori, to answer your question, is the 79 is the goal for students starting. So and then we take that goal, and I have percentages and stuff, and I have my application goal. So right now, so for spring 24, we exceeded our enrolled goal, which is fantastic. We are currently exceeding our new enrolled target for the fall. We're sitting right now at 271 new students that are eligible to register. And the reason why I threw this big not registered number in, because we have 36 students that still aren't registered for classes for the fall. So I'll be sending out a list later today to all the coordinators that have advisees that are not registered. So hopefully we can kind of tag team the last couple days before classes begin. We did a thing this year and started to send out reports from Slate. You should be getting reports every Thursday morning. That is your enrollment funnel for your program. That the enrollment funnel consists of your deposited students, which those are students that have been admitted and accepted their offer of enrollment. Then we have our admits that have just newly been admitted, or just they haven't confirmed enrollment. They still have questions, and we're still working with them. You'll see on that report that we have applications in review. So those are the applications that are actually in your reader bin. And the reason why I put that there is because I know on Mondays we send out those emails through Slate. You get them, anywhere from 2 to 4 a.m. Saying that you have X amount of students in your queue, in your Slate queue. But that's the only notification through Slate that you get on a weekly or kind of like an updated basis. So adding this part of the report in is to show you, like an application. You may have not got a notification on Monday because you didn't have any applications completed, but now it's Thursday, and where you have applications so far as applications that are ready for review. And then you have your incompletes. Those are applications that have been submitted that are waiting materials. Those are applications that we are currently working with to get through the application cycle. And then you have your withdrawals. So you may see students that have been admitted or in your deposit list that end up in the withdraw or defer section of that report. And that's basically like, if they wanted to move their enrollment over to the next semester, or if they, decided against attending Framingham State. So we withdraw them, but I want you to know where your applications are at all times within the enrollment funnel. And then the awaiting submissions. The awaiting submissions are students that have started an application, selected your program, selected a start date, but they haven't filled out the entire application and or submitted it. Those are also applications that we are applicants that we are currently working with to get them to submit, so we can then send them out to review. I know that Kristen Corey is on the call as well. She is has been working with some of the program coordinators and advisors on reports regarding their students. So I wanted to give her an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about any adjustments that she's making to those reports.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen. I work in enterprise application services in IT. And so the reports that you get from Mike like you said, are from Slate, and that's great for admissions data. Once your students become students, all of their information sort of lives in Banner. And so what we can do from the IT side is, get your reports on your current students, the number of students in your program, how many have graduated, who hasn't registered, stuff like that. All of you, I believe, should have access to Argos, which is our reporting solution. And if you look in the program coordinators folder, you'll each program has its own folder, and you should have access to it. Some of them have nothing in them, which is not helpful. Some of them have some other random reports in there that probably aren't useful anymore, which is also not helpful. So I want to make sure that you guys have the information you need to help your students in the best way you can. So if you poke around in Argos and see what you have out there, and you think of something else that you need that would be useful to help your students, please let me know. You can always put in tickets. Just send an email to IT@Framingham, or put in a ticket through the Team Dynamics help desk. And we can tailor reports. There's probably some stuff that everybody would find useful across the board, but if there's something specific to your program, we can narrow that down as well. So, Lori, go ahead.
Hi, I'm sorry I have all these questions. I'm not sure what Argos is, and I'm wondering, is that connected to Banner? Because I don't think we ever had access to Banner, or I never had access to Banner before, and now it seems like I do. And so I'm kind of confused about where do I look to see. So I know I can get into Slate to see the letter the students receive when they're accepted that lists the courses they need. And then I always check that to align that aligns with the course plan I've developed with them. But then I go to DegreeWorks and it doesn't match because I think it has to be manually entered, but nevertheless, it doesn't match. And then I go to Banner and sometimes it matches, but I'm not sure what Argos is.
Okay. So Argos is, it's a reporting tool. So it talks to Banner. It presents all of the information in Banner, just in different ways. So we can, give you an Excel sheet full of stuff, or a PDF or whatever, but it's going to pull directly from the Banner database. So DegreeWorks should match Banner. And I know it doesn't always exactly, and that's a Mark Powers question, but I can also help out with that if you ever run into anything bizarre. But Argos is really just an easier way to look at things, so you don't have to look at each individual student and go to 45 different pages to find out what you need to about that student. You can look at all the students together, or you can look at a bunch of different information about a student. So it all just sort of depends on how you get it. And yes, that eVisions page, eVisions is the company that owns Argos. Argos is the reporting part. They have other solutions that we use for, writing checks and things like that. You do have to be on campus or connected to Campus VPN in order to get to Argos. And if you don't already have access to it, I can share the link to ask for it too. I know that Elena had sent out an email to everybody with that link, but I can share that again. So, Margaret.
Hi, yeah, a couple of things. One thing that I've noticed is that if I'm on like my Framingham and my faculty staff homepage and I look at my list of advisees, it does not list all of the students that are in the program, even though they're all supposed to be my advisees. And so I think that there's still some connection piece missing there. But the second, Kristen, is that you have done for some of the undergrad programs that wonderful report that lists all of the students in the program down the left-hand side and all the courses across the top, and tells you whether or not the students have taken each of the courses in the program.
Yep.
Would you be able to do those, at least for my program? I don't know, other people might want it too, because it makes it really, it's a huge benefit for scheduling.
Yeah. Yep, that's definitely possible. You know, I can go based off the catalog per program and just plop them all in there. I know that's a pretty popular report for the undergrad chairs, so I can certainly do that. The same for the graduate programs.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else? I'm seeing same for. So yeah, I can reach out to everybody and just have them confirm. That will take me a little bit because there's a lot of you and there's a lot of courses. So but definitely manageable.
Mike,
Thanks, Kristen.
yeah, Mike, my question more so pertains to, you know, the slide that you showed earlier. In terms of the percentage melt, is that a formula that you did you use a formula where you're looking at just 2022, 2023, and however your vision in 2024 to get at the percentage melt that you have here?
Yeah, so I'm assuming that you're talking about this number, our
Yes.
goals. Yep. So to kind of get in the nitty-gritty of things, I can show you what I look at on really kind of like a daily basis.
I mean, you don't have to really show me.
Yeah, so it's can you see this screen?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically what we look at is the amount of applications. So we have, you know, our net matric goal of 250. And then we bring it back to, you know, what is our deposit, our yield rate. And then that's where I get my 305 deposits. And then, so in order to, what the formula is to look at, you know, if I have this amount of applications, I should net matric this amount of students. And this is all based off historical data that we have in our system.
Okay.
So we have, so our melt rate of 19.62, that is based off of what we're looking at in terms of net matrics and gross deposits. And then our deposit yield rate is deposits to accepts. And then our accept rate is based off of our accepts to applications.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep.
I'm assuming that, you know, I mean, first of all, you know, it's nice to see the numbers are bouncing back. You know, that's really good news. Are you going to provide like a breakdown of like programs that have admitted students for the fall, like what the numbers are for different programs?
So in this call, I can, and I can briefly, not like in the presentation itself, but I can show you the report that I look at on a daily basis. But also I can send you the reports as well. We use a 3-year comparison report based off of we just look at our comparison reports based on each program. And it's kind of small. So if I were to share it, you'll have to excuse my font size. And if Slate wants to work today, that would be fantastic, even better. So this is based off of every program.
Yep.
And so, for example, we have our elementary education program, our initial license and professional license program. And this is the 3-year comparison based off of the entire enrollment funnel versus previous years. So for example, initial license, there's 5 net matrics versus 9 last year. But there's also, looking at the application funnel, there's less applications this year versus previous year.
Okay.
Okay. And I can send this if you all want. I don't want to bombard you with the emails and all the information, but I can 100% send this all to you if you would like. So just let me know.
Yeah, I would like a copy. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions so far? All right. So what I'd like to talk about now is a little bit about our marketing. In my role, I am not a marketer. My staff is not the marketing department. We are the recruitment department, but we do coincide with one another, and we do advise our university marketing department on what we can and what we should be doing. So these are just some simple, kind of like graphics of the ads that we have placed. We do a lot of digital ads. We do Google search engine marketing. So we buy keywords. So sometimes you may see, like if you Googled, elementary education, MED programs in Massachusetts, we would show up on one of those sponsored ads because we purchased those keywords. This top right-hand section is an example of what we have done this past year when on a monthly basis. So we have, retargeting throughout the entire year. I'm very, cognizant on how much we spent and what, I'll be glad to share that with you. But we also do program specific marketing. We do Google display ads. The marketing department, since our marketing budget is also tied in, it's a DGCE marketing budget. It's not just for enrollment. We are also marketing for the ELP program. We're marketing professional development. So there's a lot of different things that go in with a lot of not so much money, so to speak. But we also do marketing for winter and summer intersession courses for the continuing ed programs. Students just wanting to take classes and transfer them back into their 4-year institution. So we use a variety of platforms when it comes to social media. So we use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. We have used LinkedIn before. I just met yesterday with the new marketing manager to go over this year's marketing initiatives, and we're really trying to shy away from the overall general DGCE branding, and we're going to be marketing programs. The biggest thing for us is to, show what we have in terms of programs versus, we have master's degrees. Congratulations. A lot of other universities do, but what master's degrees do we have? I do know that we are going to focus this year on one of the focuses is going to be on initial license programs. There are a lot of students out there, potential candidates out there that have emergency licenses that need to have initial teaching licenses. So we are going to be highlighting those programs. We're looking at, continuing on with the program-specific marketing for our nursing program. We're looking at, different ways that we can market our MBA program. So there's a lot out there that we can market to, but it's just coming down to finding the right opportunities to be able to get our name and the program out and outside of the traditional 30-mile radius. If you live within 30 miles of Framingham, you know about Framingham State. Let's go to Southern New Hampshire. Let's go to Northern Rhode Island or Northern Connecticut. I know, and I'll talk a little bit about the recruitment side of things, but we are expanding our reach into New York this year for travel. Our nutrition ed program, we get students from all over the country because it's a 100% online program. So, there's room for opportunity and growth, and marketing and getting the name out there is going to be very integral into our success for 2025, because I just did my enrollment goals this year for next year, and they're a little bit worse than they are this year. So if you have questions or want to discuss marketing regarding your program, please let me know. And then I can work with our new marketing manager to ensure that we're getting the name out there. So a lot of questions come up over the year of, what does your staff do? And this is just a smidgen of what we do when it comes to recruitment. But we don't have slow times. Basically every week of the year is busy for us with recruitment for new students. And some things that we do is just one-on-one appointments. We have Zach and Jeff taking control over one-on-one appointments with students. We do have a couple programs that have program-specific, pre-admission advising. So we have some advisors that do evening appointments. We're on the road. We go to grad school fairs. We exhibit at professional conferences. We do program-specific and general application webinars. We send a lot of emails. We make a lot of phone calls. We're trying to get out there within the community, but also getting, keeping that personal one-on-one attention with our prospective students. We do sponsorships. I'm not sure if y'all know, the university is members of every chamber of commerce that we have in Massachusetts. We sponsor different events. Just this past summer, we sponsored the Quarter 9 495 golf tournament. We were a whole sponsor. We got tickets. We got a foursome for them to go and play, for people to play golf. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to really just get Framingham State's name out there. And that's one thing that we do is we really enjoy going to all the Chamber of Commerce events, networking with people. We exhibit at a lot of their business expos, just really getting the word out that we have 35 plus grad programs and continuing ed programs and stuff. So we also take a very collaborative approach with our faculty and advisors. I know that there's some faculty that, as soon as the student gets, raises their hand and has questions, we try and pass them on and make that connection. The biggest thing for us is making that connection with our faculty and staff, with students, because, my staff has 30, altogether, we have over 50 programs that we have to recruit for. That's why we sometimes lean on the advisors and the coordinators to kind of help with talking to prospective students and answering questions that they have, because we don't know everything. We try and think that we do, but we don't. But you guys are the industry professionals, and you know the program inside and out. So if Jeff or Zach or myself or Zoe reach out to you regarding a prospective student, please feel free to engage with them, schedule a Zoom call, send emails back. If you are going to be sending emails to prospective students, please CC us so we know what is being said. There's a lot of sometimes, a prospective student will email probably about 10 different people on campus and get 5 or 6 different answers. So we want to be able to make sure that we're all, on the same page, talking the same language when it comes to prospective students and applicants.
Mike?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick, very procedural question, just to make sure. So
Of
when you
course.
say, just because I'm so glad you brought up about the email. So I'm sounding like a student here because I am about this procedure. And that is, when you say email, copy all of us, do you mean all 3 of you? Because that's kind of been my question since it's so great, Zach's here and Jeff's here, that do you really mean all 3 of you? That's kind of, because I don't want to be creating too many emails, and I know the as admissions is expanding. So I guess that's my question. Like, I know, for example, that with the community-based and the campus-based program, for our program, it's a little bit different. But let's say for a campus-based question, do I put all 3 of you, meaning you, Jeff, and Zach, on that email when responding to a prospective student? And I also, for example, put Robert, but just in terms of admissions, who exactly?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. You could just CC one of us, just so we know what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, before I reach out to or respond to a prospective student, I'm going to reach out to Zach and to Jeff to make sure that if they got that email, or if just so they're aware of that. I CC Jeff and Zach to most of my responses to prospective students, just so they're aware. But just as long as you CC one of us. And Lori, yes, if you want to continue to BCC that Slate email, and I'll send that email address to everybody as a follow-up when I send out the recording of this, just so what Lori is speaking about in her question, should we use the Slate email as a CC? In Slate, there is a kind of like a generic email address that if you BCC it, the actual record of that email gets associated with the student's Slate timeline. So it's being notated on their record. So we can go into their timeline and see that an email has been sent from one of you, or we try and BCC all of this. We try and CC or BCC all of the emails to prospective students from our general Outlook or from the grad admissions inbox. So everything is being tied to their Slate record.
Mike,
To follow up, yes, if you could just CC one of us on that email as well. Wardell?
yeah, I know my colleagues from the education department might be excited about this one. But I noted that you stated that the plan is to do some targeted recruitment for folks who are on emergency license. So looking at the list of recruitment, the slide with recruitment, and perhaps might be an old slide, but are you guys going to be intentional in reaching out to schools, school districts, to see if we can recruit from the school districts themselves, since most of the times the folks who are with those emergency license are actually in the schools?
It's a great question. And if we have access to contact information at the school districts, I'm looking at all of my education faculty. If you guys have contacts in the school districts, please let us know, because I don't have that information. When I say that we're going to be targeting those that are on emergency licenses, we're actually targeting via digital means. So we're going to be looking at serving up digital ads to geographic areas for school districts, but also, focusing on, LinkedIn or looking at like different digital platforms that, like if we could, there's opportunity for us to be able to retarget our ads from students that have maybe been to our website or have been to other websites like the DGCE website. We can retarget those types of like digitally ads. So for recruitment purposes, for us to be able to, get in contact with the school districts, I would love that. I just need to kind of like figure out how and where to go to get that information.
Yeah, I would suggest that most school districts now they have someone who is in charge of talent acquisition. And so my strong suggestion would be, to perhaps reach out to school districts, especially the folks who control or oversee these offices. And I'm saying that because about 2-3 weeks ago, someone from Chelsea Public School reached out to me to say, hey, what might be some partnerships. So sometimes it's not necessarily where the faculty in the education department already have these contacts. What I'm saying is these folks are in the school district. And so if we can make an intentional push to get to know these folks, then that might actually help too.
Yeah, no, I will, Wardell, I don't think I've ever said no to any type of recruitment stuff. So if we can, I will. It's just a matter of getting the logistics down pat.
Okay.
But no, thank you for that question as well. So just to get back quickly, so I'm sure, everybody is aware based off of, previous conversations that we have a cohort model program for community-based learners through our counseling psychology program. It's based off of a partnership with a nonprofit foundation that really focuses on community mental health. This year in 2025, we had 2 cohorts start this past spring, and we have 3 cohorts starting this fall. So a total of 5 cohorts. And then we also started or are starting a MSN in education cohort at Newton Wellesley. The reason why I bring up cohorts and following this model is that a lot of colleges and universities that I have worked with over the past and are currently working with haven't fully developed the opportunity to develop really good cohort model. And I think that, one of the things that, I pride myself on with working here, especially with our cohorts, is that we have a great model that we've been able to present education to folks that are either within the same organization, the same industry, or anything like that. Like this year, I want to focus, one of my focuses is going to be on our public administration program, where it's an online program. We do see a lot of first responders in that program, but first responders around our area are not coming to us for some odd reason. So what I want to do is really focus on, the town of Natick, the Framingham Police Department, and develop cohorts with them. But that doesn't mean that we can't develop cohorts for, for example, Wardell, a school district that may have, 15 to 20 teachers that need an initial license in some way, shape, or form, or they are working towards, you know, we're trying to, you know, kind of get that type of model in. I know that we've talked to the Natick public school system about possibly doing something with special education. So in that, you know, has multiple different licensure tracks. So looking at a cohort model, I'm not saying that it's the end all be all, like we have to do it, but I'm just saying that this is an opportunity where we can start to develop and think outside the box to help enroll new students into our programs. So now the fun part. I did send out a couple weeks ago when I started talking about this meeting, I did send out another email regarding the website and any edits that need to be made to the website. I am happy to say that I think I have met with almost half, I believe about half of you so far, to go over the current website. When the transition happened from our previous website to our new website, some information may have been dropped. Some information may have been from 2018, which I'm finding. There's some information on there that got merged with other programs. So it's, you know, it is an opportunity to be able to kind of go look and really dive deep into your program website. Currently, I am the only person in DGCE that has access to edit the website. So I'm working with Elena on professional development. I'm working with Marilyn on academic policy. I'm working with, you know, all of you on updating the academic pages. So I have for the fall semester this year, Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 3, I have drop-in sessions. You can come to my office, we can sit down and go over the website. We can jump on Zoom. It's from my experience so far, as soon as I hit, like make an edit and hit save, it's live. You don't have to wait, you know, 24 hours for it to be published or anything like that. So, you know, for example, Thursday, Karen had emailed and asked about, like, you know, how are students finding out that we have an online program? Well, the MBA program didn't say anything about an online program. And I went in, made the adjustment, and then it was live and active so she could use it during her orientation. The same thing with course cycles. I know, Deb, one of the kind of like the pain points for this new website was there wasn't a course cycle on the website, and that's sometimes used when talking to prospective students and showing them, you know, how many classes or at what point they're going to be taking specific courses. Now that's on their website, and that's on the website. It was a pretty easy fix. So it's things like that that I have control over. They're, you know, creating new websites and all of that. That's not my expertise. And I would be more than happy to collaborate with the web team, but just know that you do have somebody in our office that you can go to and be like, hey, there's a spelling error, or this faculty member is no longer teaching with us. Can you take them down? Stuff like that. I can go ahead and make those adjustments for you. So as we look to the future, and this slide is completely off because I just used the same data that I used before instead of using the new data, except for the summer. We do now have a summer start, and the majority of our programs are going to be available via the summer. So please, you know, just know that we are now going year round. We're enrolling students year round. There's opportunity for growth and development. The spring 25 goal is 120 new students. So it's not 79 anymore. The fall goal is 260. So please know that I'll make the adjustment on the presentation before I send it out. Just know that there's new goals, new start times, and more of an opportunity for students to start classes. So I know that we're about 13 minutes, and I still want to, kind of leave some room for questions. But what I want to talk about is application review a little bit. One thing that we have a lot of programs have transitioned to in the from the time that I started, and you're probably a lot of the coordinators that were around when I started are probably sick of hearing about me saying, we need to remove the GREs, we need to remove the MTELs, we need to remove the barriers, remove the barriers. But that also turned into more of a holistic approach to application review. Yes, grades are important. Yes, we have standards for our classes, but there's also the opportunity for us to collect letters of recommendation, have a writing sample. We have a opportunity to collect their resume and be able to see students as a whole versus just as a grade point average on a transcript. And I'm happy to say that we have been transitioning to that process for the last 8 or 9 years, and I'm happy to say that I think everybody on this call is very supportive of that. They may have a 2.5 GPA from the year 2000 when they graduated high school or their undergrad, but they have 20 plus years of work experience with amazing letters of recommendation. We're going to give them a shot. Things like that. Really, that's what the holistic approach is all about. Is looking at every single piece of document that they submit to make the decision. We in admissions tell students from the time that their application is complete to the time that they get a decision is anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. So I ask that we keep that in mind when we are getting those notifications from Slate, those reports that we send out on Thursdays. Just keep an eye on the time frame. A lot of the times where this may get a little bit tricky is if you're on vacation or on sabbatical or with family members that you're not able to access the database. But also, when we have applications going through multiple different people for review. So if you are a first read, I ask that it's just a simple, it's an ask, it's not a demand, that you look at the applications pretty quickly once you get those actual notifications, because then they have to go through another process for review. So when there's multiple people reviewing applications, I know that it's going to be on that 3-week time frame, but just keep an eye out for those times. In your Slate queue, you can also see when the date and time that the application was put into your queue. So if you have questions about that, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to kind of show you where you can find all that information. And then also, if you are kind of on edge about admitting a student, just remember that you do have the opportunity to interview students. I know Lori loves to interview her applicants, and I usually get to that 3-week mark. And I'm like, Lori, make a decision, please. And she's like, I'm interviewing them tomorrow. So please, just know that you do have that opportunity to talk to those students and get to know them a little bit more and talk about the program, and be able to, make a well-rounded decision. Which leads me into things that I'm going to be doing this year. Is I'm going to start with monthly trainings for all the coordinators and advisors. It is optional. I will send out the link. I will send out the date and time. It's going to be in the evenings. I know everybody's crazy during the work day, and if you're not teaching class on a night, by all means, please join me. But some of the topics that we're going to be discussing is recruitment techniques, the way that you advisors and coordinators can help admissions, but how admissions can help you guys. the holistic application review process, financial aid student accounts. There's some questions, some people may have questions about financial aid or how to pay their bill or anything like that. More than happy to go through that process with you. The registration process, I know that we just switched over from, My Framingham to SharePoint to, whatever it may be next in the next couple of years. But there's the registration process has pretty much been stagnant the same way for the last couple of years. So we can go through that. And then as part of my goals for 2025 is to help with retention on different activities and advising opportunities and techniques that we can kind of go through. Again, they're optional. It's something to benefit you, to benefit us, to benefit the student, and just be able to ask any questions that you may have. Obviously, if you have any questions for us in admissions and recruitment, please, we can always schedule a Zoom, just a one-off. But I'd really like to get at least these on the books for the upcoming months, and go from there. So that's it, with 6 minutes to spare. And the opportunities, I know I'm just going through the chat. I want to answer any questions that may have popped up. So I know that there was a question, 4+1 included in some of the marketing and goals. So the 4+1 programs are actually going to be a little bit separate because sometimes they come out of nowhere. Students and applicants will just email or just submit an application. So that's a recruitment technique that I personally haven't been able to perfect, and that I would hope that we can work together, those that oversee 4+1 programs, to be able to actually go in and work towards setting goals for that. So they're not in my numbers for next year. Those would be kind of like our bonus numbers. And this year, for example, we had 22 new students start in the fall. 20 of those were 4+1 students, or excuse me, 22 new students start this summer. 20 of those students were 4+1 students. So the programs are taking off. And they're only going to excel when we can start putting the time and the effort and the energy into recruiting new students. Some programs are a little bit more niche, for with the CPD program with Suzanne. I know there's an internal process that is being done that I don't have really a lot of say or control over. But Lori, you and I can sit and we can kind of talk about how we can get into classrooms and talk to prospective students in like their end of their freshman year, beginning of their sophomore year. Looking at undergrad admissions, they're starting to recruit sophomores to get the name out there. So when they do become seniors, they can apply to Framingham State. So that's what we need to, that's the approach that we really need to take with our students is, end of freshman year, beginning of sophomore year, let's talk about your options to continue on with a master's degree. Any other questions? Anything that has come up? Any questions about what we talked about? Anything that you would like to see our office do better?
I have a quick question, and it's not about doing better. It's just about a timeline. So when I was recently talking to advisors just about students coming in, and what we're finding, and I'm not looking for a solution today. I'm also bringing it up in the group to see if other people are experiencing something similar. And that is, it seems for us in the campus-based counseling program that students are getting a letter with an assigned advisor from admissions. And then as advisors, we don't have access to that information yet, meaning there's a time lag. And so in terms of, I guess I'm speaking to that idea of melt and of retention, is that the advisors and I feel like that we're concerned about the perception that it looks like we don't know what we're doing because the students know who their advisor is and we don't know. And I have tried to look in Slate for materials and I just find it really cumbersome and difficult to try to do that. And so I don't have an answer. I just wanted to put that out there in terms of maybe like a workflow or diagram of the timelines that are going on so we can try to figure out either how to mitigate or get in front of it a little bit more so we can support the students and that we know that we're their advisor and they know that closer in time. Thanks.
I appreciate that, Deborah, and I'll work on that to kind of like show you. So when applications are reviewed and then the final sign off with the coordinator, there's a choice to choose advisor and advisor email in the reader form. That's information gets merged into their admission letter. In their admissions letter, it does say that they still need to confirm enrollment. And so like these students are at the point of admission versus deposit, where once they go into deposit status, that's when the registrar's office assigns the advisor. The registrar's office gets reports from us on the advisors and who they should be. So it's, for Deborah, between you and Rebecca, or between Rebecca and Robert, it's trying to equalize the advising list. So they see that information. So that's when they get assigned to the advisor. That workflow and process has, I want to say over the summer has really been done in bulk, multiple times, like a couple times every other week. I get CC'd on those emails. At one point they were saying, that they were from me, and I'm like, I don't assign advisors. So it's, I think for us on being transparent on the admissions end, we ask that information because we want the students to start having that conversation with their advisor. That we can take a look at that model, and if it works, if it's more confusing on everybody else's end, then we can kind of like try and figure out a workaround. But I would like to be able to make sure that, you guys are getting the information that is necessary. And then that's the same thing on those Thursday reports. There is a section that says, the advisor and the advisor name. So that's why I wanted to also send out a lot of those reports as well, just so everybody is aware of their student population. So we can work through that.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Suzanne?
Okay, so maybe I've got two questions. One, maybe as a follow-up to what you just talked about.
Yeah.
How long does it take? Because sometimes I get emails from students that I know I've accepted and somehow they've got me named as their advisor, but I don't think they've accepted their acceptance yet. And I'm reluctant, always, I'm happy to answer questions, but I'm reluctant to spend 30 minutes putting together a course sequence when they and they're not showing up as my advisee on my list. So what's that turnaround time?
Yep. So once a student, prior to some turnover in the registrar's office, the workflow was done every day. That process was done literally. I think it was Sandy Mellon that used to do that, and then when she retired,
you had the nerve to retire.
So I know, right? So that process used to be done every day. So you would get those emails as soon as they confirmed enrollment.
Okay.
I think now it's like 2 times or 3 times a month. It's something that I can work with Mark on. I know that Maryland, DGCE has meetings with him on Wednesdays in the afternoon. So we can kind of ask that question of how long, or can we do it on at least a weekly basis, because I don't like getting 73 emails for advising.
Right.
So I know the feeling. So as soon as the ideal situation would be as soon as they go into Banner as a deposited student, then you get assigned to the advisor.
Right.
So it's a process that we still need to work through.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
fine. And then the other, if we can circle back to Argos, I don't think I've ever, and I've been around a long time, had access to Argos.
Yep.
The link that whoever posted it in the chat does not work, and so I either need to understand what Argos can do for me, and I don't know, I had the impression I'm not the only one in this boat. So just somehow you guys figure out whether we need a training in Argos in one of your meetings or whatever, but at this point, I'm clueless
Yeah.
about Argos.
So Argos is the reporting system out of Banner. So we have Slate that brings them into Banner, and then Argos reports is our student information system reporting system. So I'll check with Kristen on how you can get access. You may have to request access
Okay.
to Argos
And
and
I'm
then
not sure we
develop a
want,
training.
I need to understand better even what it will do for me. Like, I don't even know if I want access.
Right. So
So-
I know for me and for some for Elena and Marilyn, they can actually go in and see who's registered for what courses. We can also see how many students are considered to be enrolled into the program. For example, I was meeting with the faculty on Monday night for the HR program, and on their master list they had about 40 students or so enrolled into the MHR program. Well, 17 of those were only registered, so it was only showing 17 that were enrolled.
Right.
So it's like, how can we help getting you through getting those other 20 plus students enrolled into classes for the semester? So
Okay. All right.
so I can work with Kristen on seeing how we can get access for you, but also, and then I can put all of that in the follow-up.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Margaret?
Yeah, also Suzanne, I'll just answer also one of Suzanne's questions. If Kristen does the report that I mentioned where you get the students down one side and the courses,
Right.
that's an Argos report. So you would need access to Argos. And if you just clicked an Argos link, you have to have VPN unless you're on campus. So that might be why the link didn't work, because it has to be VPN.
I do have VPN, but I didn't
You have to be logged into
explore
campus.
why I wasn't logged in, because I was listening to you guys while I was.
So that
All right.
may be why.
Okay.
And that knocked whatever question I actually put my hand up for,
That's
got knocked out of my brain.
Right.
So
I will-
that's my answer. Thank you.
I will say that Argos could be potential. I'm often asked by the department chair, well, how many students need research methods? I don't have a clue unless I go individually into each student's unofficial transcript in their record. This is not an easy answer. So man, if Argos could help with that, it'd be gorgeous.
It can do that, and it's a beautiful report. It's
Okay,
very
that
easy.
would be worth having.
Kristen's gonna be busy.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Mike, I don't know if this is for you, but I still have students pre-pandemic in my degree works. Is that your department? Can you?
That would be the registrar's office, because they from my understanding, when they go through their cleanup, any students that have either dropped, administratively been withdrawn, or have graduated should be removed, but I think it's a manual process that they have to remove those.
So can you send in a request on perhaps our behalf? I mean, my thing has folks pre-pandemic, it's it's a little bit difficult to navigate with this many folks.
You're not alone, Wardell. I don't understand how when they graduate, why don't they come off the list? I mean, they're not a student anymore. I don't get that. It's a computer. I don't understand it.
So, Mike, you would make us very happy if you can work your miracles on us.
I can't make any guarantees, Wardell, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, we know that's right.
And also just putting out there, like if there are other people that we can talk to, I mean, I really just appreciate the opportunity to hear what's happening with other programs and stuff. If there are other people, Mike, just so you're not feeling like it's you on the spot, that we can, work with to be able to, as kind of a very informal needs assessment, if you will, in terms of among coordinators that we can talk with someone about.
So I know that I know Marilyn has been kind of like trying to work through, throughout the year, trying to make sure that we're all coming together at different times throughout the year. Would it be helpful to do some like either once a semester, just like kind of like learn about the programs type of conversation, or meeting with you guys? Because I know we do the retreat, and then I know that she works with some coordinators in the fall. But before that, or in between, do you think that it would be helpful to have kind of like an optional DGCE coordinator advisor, little powwow? I see some shaking ahead. So
Oh,
I will.
absolutely. So I'm going to voice an opinion here. I had a bunch of other questions and I decided these are not your questions. So yes, I think that we do need something that Marilyn will pull together for us.
Sure. All right. Yeah. And her office is right around the corner from mine. So I can go have a conversation with her and try and set something up.
Great. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well, I know that we're over time, and I do appreciate that everybody took the time to come in and meet today. I'm going to stop recording.